week. That's our private mail. Don't dox us to the world. We have to keep, some kind of semblance of anonymity, Hi, it's Eric O'Sullivan, aka the Reverend Sully, ordained on the internet half a lifetime ago. I'm a spiritual guy. This is the dojo for tactical and practical spirituality. Also, we talk about comic books a lot, and it's really brought us together. We have a great show. What's up, Michelle Powers? How are you? Welcome. How are you doing today? Let us know in the chat and in the comments. What are the comic books are you reading? We'd like to know. We continue. We perpetuate. We instigate a comic book shop style conversation here. And it's not just about outrage culture. I think the outrage culture really brought us together. But it can't be just what we're, you can't live on pizza and Doritos alone. Occasionally, you're going to need a professional chef like me to come and make you some wonderful soup, a nice salad, and something made with, a rice or a potato, a starch, a fresh vegetable, a protein in a proper portion, made with the right amount of ingredients and a sauce, and then some dessert, and I am doing all right as well, Michelle Bowers. And thanks for tuning in today for the Sunday magazine show about magazines in a way. Well, magazines are print publications and so are comic books. Periodicals. Yes. And what does the future of the periodical industry have for comic books? Not just us as readers, not just the creators creating, whether or not they're intersecting or they're flabbergasting, one could say. But the periodical print publication industry, from your local papers all the way up to something like National Geographic and Sports Illustrated. What does the future hold for the print publication, the periodical? The marketplace has changed. Can we distill it down to something called content? And what does that bode for comic books, especially producing comic books and distributing comic books? I'm a big fan of traditional hand-drawn pencils and inks. And hello there. People are starting to file in. I can see people coming in, through, in the back there. Hey, make comics great again. I have not read Isom, and I will share my thoughts. We'll come back to that. As my therapist says, let's put a pin in that. We can talk about that during the show. And we also, hey, James, good to see you. I cook all the time. Yeah. And, but I'm a big fan of hand-drawn art, like hand-drawn pencils, and traditionally hand-inked line art. And you can't escape digital coloring. That's been going on over 2 decades now. Same with digital lettering. And along with digital lettering comes digital onomatopoeia. Onomatopoeia is the word that is spelled the way it sounds phonetically and is your sound effect on a 2-dimensional print page with no audio. Bam, bamf, snit, thwip. These imaginary sounds that only exist in these imaginary universes that we all like to share, and we come together. It is Sunday, and we talk about new releases. I read a boatload of new comics every week. I'm blessed and grateful to have a friend who shares with me their review copies. So I read digital comics like every week. Yet I'll be 52 years old at the end of the year. I will. And for most of that time here on planet Earth, I've been a comic book fan. I've grown up by having 2 quarters in my pocket, 4 bits. Go to your corner store and there's a spinner rack there at your local bodega. We never called them bodegas here in Boston. We called them corner stores. We didn't have 7-Elevens. We had White Hen Pantry, But we had spinner racks. Like people got spinner racks at liquor stores. I never saw a spinner rack in a liquor store. growing up. And I didn't grow up with a gas station culture either. We didn't have a car in my family. Yeah, it was just me and my single mom living in the projects, like literally with the red line, the subway in our backyard. So, we got around, but but enough about me. Let's talk about some of these comic books. So I read 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17 different Marvel comic books, fresh off the, fresh from this week. DC Comics, I read 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Actually, I read 9 of these 11. I need to go back and read those other 2 because I read them all. I also got some Dynamite comics, such as James Bond, issue number 1 by Garth Ennis. The boys, the Punisher, Preacher, Garth Ennis. Hey, it's AL. Good morning, all. Pika says hello to you too, AL. Hey, Mo, how's it going out there? Moses Salam, all the way from the other side of the world. You're in Saudi Arabia, or are you in? I believe you're in. He's Saudi, and good. It's been a while, and it's good to see you. It's good to see everyone out there. Yeah, I read the new James Bond from Dynamite Comics, and it's interesting too because Dynamite Comics are like known for their cheesecake covers, like Vampirella, I think Elvira, most definitely Red Sonja, Sheena, Queen of the Jungle, Jaja Thoris, the Princess of Mars with John Carter. He's in Jeddah. That's where all the Jedi are from. Hey, and don't forget Hitman. That's right, Yul Carter of Fantastic Comics and Berkeley, California, the owner and operator of said comic book store, said Local Comic Book Shop, LCS. And his deets are in the details of this very show. If you need some comic books, if you missed something, if something wasn't in your pull, contact Yul Carter. He might surprise you, and he might say, I got that. And then Yul got it. You'll get it. Yeah, that was an unintentional pun, my friend. Puntastic. I loved Hitman. Seriously. Hitman was Garth Ennis running around the DC universe continuity with scissors in his hand. It was fun, and it was really heroic and over the top, and great art by John McCrae. And so if you like The Boys, he did that kind of he gets Kyle Rayner, Green Lantern, has a same-sex fling that without his consent. He got roofied by Bueno Excelente and his powers of perversion. Bueno. There's just what a good book that was. I love him. Yeah, I read a lot of comics this week, and I bought 6. So we're gonna play at the end of the show. What's in the bag? What's in the bag? That's right. I buy funny books every week from my local comic book shop. I'm not quite a Wednesday warrior, but I'd like to consider myself more of like, the reserve, the reserve corps. But no, I go to my comic book shop every Wednesday, usually about 3:30 p.m. The store's only been open, say 3 or 4 hours, and it's reality to see of the new release shelf. Really, that's the shape of what's going on and how we get these. If you're not getting your comic books, how are you getting your comic books if you are not going to your local comic book shop? Do you get floppies? Do you wait and get them from trade paperbacks through Amazon? Do you just fly do you fly the high seas? Hey, smoking another bowl there, Sully. Do you sail the high seas and, pirate them? I kind of do. I do. But I go back and I buy the things that are worthy. And we'll see one of them today at the end of the show. What's in the bag? That's what's in the bag, Pika. But let's get to it. Let's talk about this week in comic books. I'll start off with Ghost Machine #1, which is coming out next week, this coming Wednesday. and it's basically this is a review copy. It's called Ghost Machine #1, and it's just announcing the intent of the creators of this imprint at Image Comics. And it's Jason Fabok, Gary Frank, Brian Hitch, Francis Manapul. There's Ivan Rice. That's a murderer's row of artists. And then you got Jeff Johns, you've got Brad Meltzer, and Peter J. Tomasi. And then there's a whole host of, people that they have probably shepherded and see the talent and want to bring along and want to mentor and show the business of comic books. It is a business. Sean Gordon Murphy's got some great podcasts out there. He likes to, when he talks to students, he also tells them about contracts and about what to look out for and what to ask for, which is great, because that's I love those business oriented parts of our grand hobby. And yeah, I guilty, but you're all the way over in Jeddah, Saudi Arabia. You said I think Mo said himself that his local comic book shop is very far away. And yeah, you have high expectations. So this Ghost Machine issue #1 is it's reprinting Geiger #1, which was done a couple of years ago. I think that was a Substack that was done by Jeff Johns and Gary Frank, and then there was Red Coat by Jeff Johns and Brian Hitch, and it was interesting. Yeah, it was fine. Great art, good storytelling. But this would have been better for me personally, as a kind of a weird kind of thing. This would have been better if it was issue #0. I love 0 issues. I love that they're a publishing gimmick to get you to buy a comic that you might, an extra comic. It's just, that's it. Sometimes an issue 0 is info dump and full of text and pictures, and sometimes they're reprints of certain parts of certain stories and certain comic books, and then other times they're a completely new story that it's a primer that sets up, it could be set in the past, and it sets up events for the now. What are you drinking today? I got some hot chocolate. I brought a snack invented here in Massachusetts, the Fluffernutter. Yes, it's honey roasted peanut butter that I make myself with marshmallow fluff brand marshmallow fluff, which is made right here in Somerville, Massachusetts, right over there, and on a chocolate rice cake, a Quaker chocolate rice cake instead of bread. Try to cut down the carbs as much as I can. And hey, Warline, good to see you. Welcome. It's good. It's been a while. It's fine. You know what I mean? Just wipe your shoes before you come in. Don't track that snow on our rug. And AL says this week was weak for Western comics for me. I just spent time catching up on One Piece, Sakamoto Days, Undead Unluck, and Jujutsu Kaisen. Those are all manga. I've never read any of those. Yeah. And I might be in the mood for a manga in the future. And because I have to still reread volumes 1 and 2 of Crazy Food Truck, and then read volume 3, which finishes it. And then I also read Dragon Ball Super, and that I'm current on that. So I think we're going on it volume 19 or volume 20 of that. And so I am reading right now 2 manga. That's official. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it. I'm doing the Sunday show live now, and I think it's fun. And thank you. I think it's awesome too, and it's good to interact with people and to do it. It's just something different, because I stopped doing the daily show, and so yeah, because I needed to readjust my work-life balance, and the daily show, I needed to contract that. So we do a Wednesday show, same time, 3 p.m. U.S. Eastern, and we go to leagueofcomicgeeks.com and we look at covers, and we go that, like, hey, I'm going to buy this. Oh, I'm going to avoid that. I'm going to avoid that like a responsibility. Oh, don't worry, Michelle Bowers. I love coffee. I'll drink it for you. Usually I'm drinking Adele's coffee, but it's a little late in the day for that. Mm-hmm. Awesome. I hope you brought snacks. So what are we reading this week? Let's talk about Marvel books. Let's start all the way at the end of the alphabet with X-Men number 30 by Jerry Duggan, and with art by Phil Noto. And I like Phil Noto's art a lot. And this was actually, this was a talkie kind of one, where it's, and it's also got this like really interesting time dilation love story with Talon and Sync, and it doesn't end very well for the for it's interesting pathos, and it's kind of it's like 75% like, soap opera talkie, and 25% high octane X-Men action. And so if that's in your wheelhouse, you might like it. I didn't mind this. I don't mind Jerry Duggan's writing. It's like, yes, he's got X-Men Green under his belt, but he's also got like 5 years on Deadpool. And I think he's competent. I mean that nicely. And also, that's, yeah. Is this, hey, Pika Shades, how are you? We are live. We are live right now. Yes, it's Sundays. We do a live stream, and I liked it. Yeah, I like doing a live stream on Sunday. It's nice. Duggan was horny this week. Yes, but I'm not complaining. That's right. I believe that Tony and Emma may have finally consummated their marriage vows. Hey, you know what? We're married. Why not? Come on. Let's blow off some steam. And yeah, what else did I? Okay, in the White Widow number 3. I mean, here's that's a good one to avoid. I mean, White Widow, it's written by Sarah Gailey, and it's for girls, by girls, meant for girls, and I'm not saying that to get blocked by any creators out there. It's just, this is, if you know what Fire and Ice Welcome to Smallville is, then know that White Widow is the Fire and Ice Welcome to Smallville of the Marvel universe. It's like when 2 movies come out at the same time of the same thing. They're like, there are 2 tornado movies. There are 2 vampire movies about teenagers. There are 2 movies about volcanoes. There are 2 movies about killer asteroids. That's it happens. That's how it's done. And so then you have to whine on Sex in the City kind of with superhero skins. There you go. Yeah. That happened. We had Star Wars, Obi-Wan Kenobi, and I liked it. Issue number 4. It's adapting the Disney Plus show. Now, I like the Salvador LaRocca art, but this issue in particular may have been a hint to thank you very much, Michelle. My shirt is hilarious. But I do like hot moms, and I am accepting applications for a research position. I'm writing a book called Clean Bodies, Dirty Minds, and apply with the executive producer, please. And Salvador LaRocca has drawn a lot of X-Men books. Love his work, and this looks like, I didn't see the show, And so I don't know what any of the camera work looks like. So what I'm saying is that this is so photorealistic in this art style here. I'm wondering if like he was just tracing over, like light boxing actual images from the show itself. Because I'm thinking all this time that, that they're part of the story. Like you're just drawing the pacing. Are you literally recreating the camera shots though? It's like, did someone hit pause and did you just draw over this on a tablet? That's the question I'm asking. But it's hard to, because that's Salvador LaRocca we're talking about. We're not talking, he's been doing this for 30 years, or he's a comic book pro. I mean, but it's I liked LaRocca enough until he watched Lost. Thank you. And what did Sabretooth do to Ken? That'd be spoiling. Seriously. But it was pretty good. I mean, I bought that issue. That was Wolverine 41 from last week. I got a great Capullo variant cover for that one. And yeah, sorry. Sometimes it's like, oh wow, the chat's really flowing. And I think no wonder why. Hey, why can't you be a good producer like X-Ray Girl? He's just being silly. But it was fine. I mean, I'm liking this comic book. I want to like Star Wars comic books. Yeah, kind of like we can we'll come back to this conversation. We'll just we'll dip in and out of it. I haven't read Isom I haven't read Isom. I didn't order it. It didn't grab me. It didn't grab my attention. And I've been a big fan of Eric July for the past couple of years on his show. Like when he's talking about this stuff. And it's great that he has like a legacy of success, that he has a really good band that had a little bit, I'd never heard of Backwards, but I also dipped out of pop culture for a while too. So was Backwards were they big? Were they NSYNC big, or 98 Degrees big? You know what I mean? Were they like Green Day big, or Slipknot big, or Saxon big? Because there's the big is big, but I don't know. But the art didn't. I was never satisfied with the art from afar. I could, and just I was. It doesn't surprise me to hear that the 3D assets were being used all this time, and just I mean, I like better art than and good luck for him. I mean, he's a phenomenon. What he did, yeah. I mean, that's but I didn't bite. I didn't nibble. I did not even read it pirated. Well, I would. Ooh, excuse me. I'd read a used copy, sure. Someone wants to lend me their copy of Isom and stuff, sure. But I just don't know. I haven't, find it hard to actually draw on a tablet. Yeah. Yeah, and it's just it must save paper costs, must save pen costs, must save shipping costs, FedEx tubes, not getting lost in the mail. It doesn't take out, but it takes away the original art aspect that the artist can sell. There was also Star Wars: The High Republic, Phase 3, Volume 3, Issue number 3. It's quite fine. It's it's competent Star Wars storytelling in the expected in-universe trappings. Sure. Star Wars Bounty Hunter number 42. It wasn't that bad. It was probably my favorite issue that I've read so far. It's the final issue of this, because Dark Droids just ended. So the bounty hunters, it's like everything that happens with Dark Droids and in this part of Star Wars history. Is like it's all right before Return of the Jedi starts. So it's between the end of Empire and the beginning of Return of the Jedi. So there's only so many stories you can tell, and this story's over. And the thing about Star Wars Bounty Hunter number 42 that worked, it's an old-fashioned Western story, or a Viking story, or a gladiator story, but it just has the trappings of the Star Wars universe. It's by numbers, sure, but it works, and it ends on an enjoyable note, using all the toys in its own toy box, all the action figures that it has in its own toy box, with their own characters that they've been having. You're like, who is this guy? Who's that gal? Oh, there's Dengar, there's IG-88, and there's Forlom and Zuckuss, the bounty hunters. There's Bosk, the Transdosian, the Trandosian. All right. But yeah, if you enjoyed Isom, good for it. I mean, yeah. I didn't nibble. I don't know why. It's just, lots of people are raving about it, but also people are pointing stuff out now, that stuff that I would have probably have been like, I paid $25 for this. I paid $50, $75 for all this all together, and just like digital art and like kind of like, I don't know. Miles, no, Miguel O'Hara, Spider-Man 2099, 3 weeks in a row. This is it's issue 3, and issue 4 comes out, I think, next week as well. And it's just Miguel O'Hara, Spider-Man 99 Tales. This one has the team up. It's kind of like Marvel Team Up 2099, and that's pretty good. It works. It's set in some far future that gets closer every day, because it's 2024. This is only 75 years in the future, right? And what will that future look like? Will we have any of that stuff? But he had a team up with Marvel. Team Up was an old 70s and 80s Spider-Man comic book where you had Spider-Man and he teams up with any C or B lister or even just anyone, and it was the Marvel Team Up book. Over on DC, you had Batman Brave and the Bold, and that had the same thing. It was Batman, and he would just team up with anyone and usually have one and dones, and that the end of it would lead into the next issue somehow, maybe. Let's see. I'm a conscientious observer in the war, so I don't read Isom. Yeah, I'm with you. And also, seriously, if I'm literally team Ethan. Yeah, I am. I follow Ethan on Twitter. He follows me. I mean, he's okay in my book. It's all kayfabe. This is sports radio shit, man. I mean, he's going to buy himself, and he said it too, like Phillies season tickets, Philadelphia Phillies season tickets with the super chats that he's getting out of this. He's milking. It's like, why not? There's an angle there. He wants to make money. Sure. You're putting on a show. The thing is that it's the audience that's driving the sales of this. I would rather see him do like draw streams and like quote unquote more typical shit. I was going to say normal because he's not that normal. Neither am I. But I get him. I like his sense of humor. He's trying to be a 90s shock jock. And Howard Stern left the throne open for him. Let's put it that way. Opie and Anthony are the thing of the past. But where does that shock jock in sports radio, that audience, where do they tune into? I think they tune into this. And yeah, I don't think the Trump stuff either. But it's I always skip over that opening like with that song, and it just is not for me, or I'll tune back. I also, the same thing with Alex Stein. I will, if it's live, I'll tune back a little later, or I will always fast forward over him. Alex Stein, Alex Jones, just not my cuppa. You are. Literally, Yule Carter has a show as well every Tuesday night, 8 p.m. U.S. Pacific. Tune in. He's about new releases, last week's reviews, and Crack the Slab, where Yule frees a comic from its carbonite encased, like Han Solo in carbonite. This poor comic book just wants to be held and read and given your attention. Crack the Slab. Yeah, I mean, and I was following Eric for a while, and just got, it just got kind of just boring. It is all about pimping the product, and I get it. He's good at it. I mean, he's really, but it's, Eric had different content before Rippaverse. Now it's just about Rippaverse, and but hey, life goes on, and like I probably have watching now. I have time to watch someone else, and because he doesn't make that kind of content anymore, like you're talking about for canon's sake. I love that, and plus he does a show with Az now, and I can't watch Az anymore. Oh man, he's just I did all the rage stuff, and just I don't. Yeah, I'd rather unwind than be wound up. That's what I have to say. Miracle Man number 7, Miracle Man the Silver Age number 7. This was really good. Neil Gaiman, Mark Buckingham. This has been decades in the making in a way. Finally complete and told story. And it's really good endings. Lands so strong. And it's going to lead into Miracle Man the Dark Age number 1. I wonder if that's going to be written by Gaiman. Because if so, I'm in for that. Totally. I mean, this ended as being a spiritual guy here, Reverend Sully, your home, your dojo of tactical and practical spirituality, the kind that will help your life dramatically, palpably, tactfully, in every way. It will rotate your tires. It will check your oil. Indeed. But Miracle Man number 7 was great. Great art. So well written. Neil Gaiman, he's a great exercise for me. Because like I disagree with him on social issues. I hate his Twitter voice, but I still follow him and I can ignore him in a way. I'm just like, oh, that's just Neil being Neil. And I can just enjoy his stories. Same with Mark Waid. Same with Ethan Van Sciver. Oh, yeah. But I'm also a big Jack Show fan too. And it's like, oh man, because we all have shared audiences, It's it's kind of or we're the audience. Like I've seen so many different people in different shows. We're like, hey, we all watch the same stuff. Jackpot number 1. It's a gang war tie-in. It's about Mary Jane, getting a suit and using her powers to the force of good. And it shows some classic hero storytelling. You can bash this funny book all you want because it ain't made for me, and I'm a lifelong Spider-Man fan. But I will say that Mary Jane has a nadir at the end of Act 2, and which climaxes with her winning and persevering and doing the whole Freytag's triangle thing. Just she's fighting female Electro, who we cannot call Electra because we already have an Electra. So there's Lady Electro, or maybe it's just is it Lady Remington? Oh, that's a close shave. But Mary Robin now, not Mary Jane now. And it's time to fridge MJ. Oh, maybe. Or maybe just have them just split up. I mean, every time we see it's just like it opens up with her and Paul and couples therapy again. This is a dramatic pause. I do have things to say. I'm just doing this for effect. Hello, darkness, my old friend. I've come to play with you again. Oh, hi. I was thinking about Jackpot #1 too much again, wasn't I? Who cares about Paul, Rabin, and MJ's relationship? Besides them, of course. But she's a few years older than Peter now. She's several years older than Peter now. I think it's like one of those. This is a great opportunity for them to just like let go and do something new. If you're gonna have all this like female forward thinking, the most female forward thinking is like, that's just like, listen, even Gazelle left Tom Brady. Come on, man. Lisa Bonet left like Jason Momoa. Women are fucking crazy. Do your thing, girl. Go slay queen. Hey, speaking of crazy chicks, this is my friend Carrie. Go subscribe to Carrie at Nerdy Girl Creates. She makes great content. And yeah, she spent a few years on in Paul Rabin's Alter Earth. And that was the whole time dilation thing, right? And so she's physically like, she spent like years with Paul while Peter spent minutes on Earth trying to find MJ again and breaking friendships to save them and the fake kids. You remember that? Did we already memory hole that? I think we did. We got Invincible Iron Man #14. It's just a moving part in the does it have, let me see, it does have trade dress. It is Fall of the House of X, and it's written by Jerry Duggan, who is writing X-Men, who wrote this week's X-Men #30, of which I liked, and I love art by Phil Noto. Sometimes Phil can't draw a good fight scene, but sometimes he can, and so I'm there for that. So this is the other side of that, because this is a piece of the cogs that are moving in this machine of the X titles. And Jerry Duggan is just one of the captains of it. But in this, you have Tony Stark waking up from a nightmare. And Emma comes in his room, and like they're obviously not sleeping in the same room. But by the end of the scene, they disrobe and they finally consummate their wedding vows and spend a little time together. And what? That's cool. Whatever. They're a married couple. They're married. Sure. It's just a part in this big over story. So it's like I like Iron Man books. I fucking love Iron Man. All right. I've been reading Iron Man all my life. I love Tony Stark. I love James Rhodes. Rhodey is in peril. Rhodey's been set up and doing a fake charge in a Texas jail. And so Tony had to go to Kingpin, who is the White King, and ask for a favor. And so like now, like incarcerated bad guys, supervillains are looking after Rhodey, who to protect him from getting shivved in the prison because of Tony Stark and this Orcus business with Fei Long. I'm liking Iron Man, okay? But it's got, we have a healthy dose of Riri Williams in here, but sure, okay, and but Iron Man right now is basically an X-Men title, and Iron Man's better when it's an Iron Man title. Iron Man just like, yeah, I mean, he might have always been a B-lister in people's minds, but never mind. I grew up an Iron Man fan. I love different Iron Man armors. Seriously. And then he keeps talking about different armors. There's going to be a new War Machine armor coming out. I love the Mark Nil armor. He's currently wearing the black stealth armor, gray tones with that same that green color that you can see right there, like for the eyes and the repulsors. Fucking love this suit, Yeah, can't you see that? So it's not bad. And let's see what Guardians of the Galaxy #10. I give a lot of grief to Jackson Lansing and is it Jim Kelly, Mike Kelly? Let me look this up in the credits. It's Colin Kelly and Jackson Lansing. They're a duo that write a lot of different comic books. They're also doing Outsiders on DC Comics. And they're doing a tremendous job at Thunderbolts here on Marvel Comics. Oh gosh, Thunderbolts is terrible. But between the info dump page on the Indicia and the rest of the book, this has probably been my favorite Kelly and Lansing story I've read. A lot of it has to do with the art. It's done by Kev Walker. Kev Walker is mostly known for doing like British stuff, like 2000 AD. But the line work and art in this, the sequential panels, the characterizations, everything is just wonderful in this book. Guardians of the Galaxy 10 is a home run, and it's just steeped in it's like this got to be like the beginning of Act 3 or the end of Act 2. And it's got some really good battle scenes, really good fight scenes. I'm not a big Guardians of the Galaxy fan. I didn't watch the movies. I watched the first one 10 minutes in. I bailed on it. I was like, this is boring me. I did the same with Ant-Man. Trust me. I'm like, some of these movies I got no attention span for. And Guardians of the Galaxy, 10 minutes in, right before the jailbreak scene, I'm like, this is some Ertzat's remake of Boogie Nights. And that's my opinion, and I'd rather watch Boogie Nights. I would. And but this was good. And a lot of it's about Kev Walker's art. And if you just want some random one-issue comic book that you're just gonna you just want to spend some time, you want to roll up and put it in your back pocket like you did when you were a kid. How else were you supposed to ride your BMX home? It's what you did with your funny book. Yeah, I might go back and get this, and just it's worth it. I mean, maybe the arc. I mean, because it's Kev Walker's art, and this is amazing. We got Fantastic Four number 16. And it's about the kids. This one's about like it's about Franklin and Valeria and the two other kids. These are like Thing and Alicia's children, and I think they're adopted. One's blue and one's a Skrull. There's Jojo and Nikki, and Nikki's a Skrull. So yeah, I'm not too. And when did Franklin stop having blonde hair? Now he's got black hair. And Franklin and Alicia, Valeria, they're teenagers. They're not preteens. They're definitely like. They're like 90210 age. They look like they're in like upper middle school or something. Yeah. But it's okay. I mean, yeah, just let's see. Daredevil number 5. It's obvious now. Matt's fighting the 7 deadly sins, and each one of them has some kind of spirit that possesses someone. And gluttony has possessed She-Hulk. And it's a lot of eating over. There's a lot of Matt Murdock and Jennifer Walters eating. And so there's a really good manga out in the DC universe called Superman versus Meishi. And so it's about food, and it's about Superman eating food and taking pictures of food for his Instagram page. It's just really fun. So I call this Daredevil versus Meishi, and it happened. I read it, and that's that. Cap Wolf and the Howling Commandos. 22 pages. Did I even read this? I think so. Let me see. Is this it? Yeah, that was it. Yeah, okay. I didn't. The end? Yeah, it ends. Okay. That's it. Yeah. It ends. Captain America goes back to being human, and it's over. And it's not that bad. And it's written by Stephanie Phillips, and it's got decent art, and it's going to collect really well. So check it out in the trade paperback. Franklin altered reality to get black hair. Oh, okay. See, that would have been my first thing. My first guess. Cable number 1 by Fabian Descenza. I really enjoyed the hell out of this magazine. This was fun. It's also got the Fall of the House of X trade dress. I think it's only going 4 issues. But it's a team up between a time displaced younger Nate, the younger version of Cable that they were using, with his traditional, typical 40-something older version of Cable. So I've been liking it. Yeah, this was really good because, Fabian Descends has been like writing Cable for 30 years, I guess him and Rob Liefeld do not get along. Yeah, well, Black Panther number 8 was fine. It's just him versus Monet St. Clair of the X-Men. Hey, Mo, have a great evening. Thank you so very much for coming by. Smash that like button on the way out if you could be so kind. And hit that share button on social media. Let the world know we are hanging out talking about comic books. Oh, thank you. I haven't even touched my Fluffernutters yet. Honey roasted peanut butter, marshmallow fluff on a chocolate rice cake. Save that for breakfast. I'm always grateful for a solid breakfast. I am. It's part of my foundation of I call it the Foundation 8. I do a gratitude list in the morning, and it helps. It's part of my tactical and practical spirituality. If you want to find out more, subscribe to the channel and tune in. I do it first thing in the morning, most weekdays. It's about 5 a.m. and I'm on the light rail heading to work. And I start off my day with a gratitude list, and it's really helped my life. It really has. And hats off, no pun, Gary Beekler of Nerdrotic and a Friday Night Tights, that whole thing. He's the one that suggested the gratitude list for me. And I listened to him, and I will pay this forward for the rest of my life. Thank you, Gary. Thank you, Gary Beekler. God bless. Namaste. That was just helped my life so much. We've got Avengers Twilight Book 1 by Chip Zdarsky and Daniel Acuna. I really like the hell out of this because I like Acuna's art. And it's about an old, grizzled Steve Rogers and all the, New York. It looks like it's years in the future. And there's a new generation of heroes. And led by James Stark, Tony's son. And there's a beautiful New York City, though, like a great futuristic spin on New York City. It's just kind of like, it's kind of believable, like things will look like that in the future. And then the scene cuts from the street sidewalk. Hey, Dr. Nitrogen, how you doing? Good to see you. It cuts from a busy sidewalk in Manhattan, in Marvel Manhattan, to Central Park, and it's palpable. And see, because Steve's just noticing too, like there are orbs everywhere, but they're surveillance drones. That's what this one of a sublime part of the texture of this future. And Steve looks at it with derision, and they're just like part of life. They're everywhere, just doing their business, monitoring us, all of us. And Steve meets with Matt Murdock, an elderly Matt Murdock and an elderly Luke Cage, and they're having a cup of coffee in Central Park. But for me, it feels like it. I've been to Manhattan several times, and to step into Central Park, it offers such a respite from the busy activity of the rest of the city. You step into this verdant green atmosphere of it's just got sure, you can still hear city stuff, but it's just I don't know. I really appreciate this moment in the book. And it's more than just the moment in the book. I liked it, and it makes me want more. And I'm really interested in what happens next. And that's that. We have Alien issue number 3 by Declan Shelby, which should be, I think, Alien issue number 7 or maybe 10, because this shouldn't have been a new number 1. There just should have been just keep going. Oh no. Like right now? or like years ago. It's a big place. Yeah. And but Aliens number 3, it was okay. I mean, yeah. It was okay. I've been tuned into it. And yeah, that's all I got to say about Alien. It's okay. But then we have Amazing Spider-Man issue 42. We are in the middle of gang war. And this is the it's a Spidey event. And Amazing Spider-Man is still the flagship of Marvel Comics. And this we have Zeb Well writing it still with, in my humble opinion, great art by John Romita Jr. and inked by Scott Hanna. And for me personally, growing up with Romita, I mean, we all have by this point. I mean, when I was a small child, Romita Jr. started his work on Amazing Spider-Man. And I've grown up with Romita Jr. on Spider-Man and X-Men and Daredevil. And so John Romita Jr. has been coming off and on Amazing Spider-Man all my life and over 40 years now. So you got to see his style evolve. And also, I really think that Kick-Ass with Mark Miller was where his style, he had an evolution, he had a quantum leap in style. He pushed himself. He pushed his old boundaries away and just went to a new place. So I like this issue a lot. I like the last issue a lot too. And because of the fight scenes and just sometimes the characters themselves may look a little rough, yet they're Romita rough for me. So I'm forgiving of that because I love Romita's style, his tone, the way he paces panels, the storytelling. There's just, nothing in the world for me like a John Romita Jr. book. When he's gone, there's going to be, I hope there's someone that's going to take up his standard with the old Marvel way of reading scripts and laying down camera shots and pacing. And just he's marvelous. He's a marvelous, I mean that intentionally. I mean, just, great, make great comics again. Oh, watch out for Yule Carter. He's coming off the top turnbuckle with the atomic elbow on your head. I liked Bagley. My favorite Bagley was early Ultimate Spider-Man, basically issues, and Marvel Team Up too. Ultimate Marvel Team Up. Up until issue 50 or so. And then I realized it wasn't really Mark Bagley that I was appreciating. It was Art T-Bear's inks. Because when other people ink when other people ink Mark Bagley, like Scott Hanna took over, it was just like there was something off for me. It was like it wasn't right, I know the new cook's doing their thing, but it's not for me. I'll get something else. Yeah, I mean, Art T-Bear, I feel was like that. He was the X factor in my experience on Ultimate Spider-Man all those many years ago. Wow, 20 years ago now. Indeed. But Amazing Spider-Man, yeah, it's getting a lot of flack because Kingpin says boop, boop. He does a boop moment with his wife, Typhoid Mary. And he admits that his whole fight with Tombstone was so he could blow off steam the old-fashioned way. And with an opponent that was that he respects and worth his equal. I mean, that was a Tombstone Kingpin fight. As a Spider-Man reader, I'm like, dude, that was great. And but he does this boop thing with his cane on his nose. So it's like lots of people are saying, oh, they're trying to like feminized Kingpin. They're trying to make him more girl friendly. They're trying to take something away from him. They're trying to make him a cuck, like over on the MCU, and how he was in crying. Vincent D'Onofrio's Kingpin was crying tears over Echo in the last and most recent Disney Plus show. So they're trying to demasculinize, take away his toxic masculinity. I, for one, saw it a little differently. That one, he was letting off steam. Yeah, I like that whole thing. He's also the White King of the Hellfire Club now. So he's like, he was the mayor of New York. And eventually he will return to be the kingpin of New York crime. This can only go, they always change and revert back to form. It's just not in part of his story cycle right now that Wilson Fisk even wants to be the kingpin. No, he wants to be the White King of the Hellfire Club. And he wants to be the good husband to Typhoid Mary. But there was something, I think, really sinister in that boop. Because lots of people were on Twitter feeds and conversations were like, what's the difference on the nose, on her nose art? Well, that's because literally Kingpin was, didn't hit her, but just like did put enough pressure behind that cane when he booped her. He went boop with his cane on her nose, being cutesy-ootsy. But I just think it was I felt the subtext was a bit more sinister. And, I had the whole, like, to the moon with you, Alice. That's an old 20th century television, golden age of television reference to something called The Honeymooners. Ralph Cramden, bus driver, his long-suffering wife, Alice, who is always giving him lip, and he wants to say, to the moon with you, one of these days, pow, right in the kisser. And that's not funny anymore. But that was the joke. Because the joke was Ralph was never going to hit Alice. That was part of it. But it played on lots of themes in a different time. So I get more of a Ralph Cramden vibe from Kingpin than most in this. I want to say that I read on a Dynamite preview, 007, James Bond by Garth Ennis. And we'll come back to that. We will. I have read also Red Sonja, Red, White, and Blood, Black, White, and Red. And that was interesting. There was a Katie Kubert short in that. And it's really all, digital, like, looking. But I'm thinking, though, like, wow, that's Katie Kubert. That's Joe Kubert's granddaughter. One of her dads is like, Andy or Adam? I'm not sure which. But she's a legit third-generation comic book storyteller. And I'm telling you, like, if these were layouts for a better artist to come by and lay down, like, really good line work and really good inking, I mean, these as breakdowns, these panels were amazing. The storytelling, it has that big-eyed anime-ish kind of quality to it, meets that digital, there's something just sparse about a digital for me. It's just very, it just looks, it just looks digital. Sorry. Poop. I burped. Over on DC Comics, we've got, we'll start off with everyone's favorite, Mark Waid. And no Dan Mora on this one. Let's see. Bika, where did you put the files? You put it in the round file? That's a joke. The round file is the trash bin. The rubbish. Go hustle and figure this out. Sorry. Don't mean to make you watch the spats that we have here with the production team. No, this is Dan Mora. Let's go back to the first page. It's Return to Kingdom Come, Part 4, The Rise of Magog. And Batman and Superman, younger versions of their canonical selves, are trapped on Earth 22 with the kid who was Kid Thunder, is grown up to be Magog of Kingdom Come. And it's okay. It's full of okayness. It's really good superhero storytelling. It's really good. It's really good use of the DC action figures in this toy box. And but I put it down for some reason. I was buying this. I bought this for months in a row, and it was fine. I liked it. But it's like, and it's good because it's telling good stories as opposed, but he did the same thing over on, he called it World's Finest Teen Titans. It was a mini, 6 issues, and it was nice, but it had zero tension because there are no stakes. It's set in a past. So, it just nothing was going to happen. It was completely safe. It was just action for the sake of being action, and just, they probably just market share. We have a funny book this month. We have a title this month. We have something for the shelves, for the stores. One thing I did like a lot, and I have for 3 months in a row now, is Catwoman. Catwoman 61 by Teenie Howard. It's 9 Lives, Part 3. And Selena after the Gotham War, and her new status quo. And I like it. I like the art a lot. It's very well-drawn women. And I like that. It makes me happy, especially as a comic book fan. And come on. Where's the thingy? We're going to have to look this up the hard way, aren't we? On the comic League of Comic Geeks.com here. Here we go. Catwoman. Here, I'll share the screen real quick, I guess. Share the screen. Catwoman. 61. Selena's latest heist targets a nuclear reactor. Selena Kyle goes on her most daring and deadliest heist yet, leaping headfirst into the heart of a melted down nuclear reactor to steal highly valuable corium. It's like corium. That's a MacGuffin. It's kind of like the champagne bottles in Notorious. It's just meant to, it's meant to get to the end of the story, which was a nice moment with Superman. We've got 5 variant covers. I like this one a lot. But let's get back to it. Stefano Raffaele. He is Italian, and really what I feel is in a tradition with Italian macho, natural macho, kind of like you ever heard of Milo Manara? He does a lot of erotic comics and of the 70s and 80s, and he's got this like really fine line with really beautiful European women and that style and look. And so this kid Raffaele, he's got that kind of same eye, that same kind of tradition. I like this a lot. We had Green Lantern War Journal number 5. It was fine. Jay Garrick, The Flash number 4 by Jeremy Adams. Again, just fine. John Constantine Hellblazer, Dead in America. Put a pin in that. Yeah, variant issues because they sell. They're cheesecakey. And that is the great variant cover scam of modern comics. Yeah. Yeah, War Journal's likable. I love Jon Stewart as a character. I love Green Lantern. It's just some of the coloring is just it's quite garish sometimes. A lot of modern purple, but as we now know that I don't reject modern purple anymore. Modern purple for me is a wonderful thing. You can find it in the backgrounds of all of your modern comic books and lots of the current advertisements that you see on your favorite television shows. Um, and modern purple are blues, political blues that admit that they have to work with reds and they have to accept reds and be together, because only blues being with reds makes modern purple happen. And modern purple is everywhere. So I want to say thank you, blues, for finally admitting and accepting the reds that you need to work together with to make modern purple happen. I'm going to clip that. He's talking about purple again. Godzilla versus Justice League versus Godzilla versus Kong. It's fine. It's fun. It's supposedly canonical. It's but hey, the Santa Claus one, Silent Night, that was canonical too, and that was fun. Nightwing number 110. Well, at least it wasn't as bad as Titan 7. Both of these are Beast World tie-in issues. And oh my god, Titan 7 has some of the worst art. It really does. Who did the art in this? Tony Moore? Not Tony Moore. At least it has some trade dress on the cover this time saying like, oh, this is a tie-in. Oh god, this art is so terrible. I'd show you, but I wouldn't want to make you puke. It's just so flat, one dimension. I guess the whole thing about digital art is these are just describing stuff, but it's like this one dimensionality with on 2 dimensions, or is it 2-dimensionality on 3 dimensions? But it's pretty, like the art's just Travis Moore is the artist, and it goes right to the colorist, and don't engage with any of these people on social media. Okay, I'm not saying anything mean about them. I'm not saying anything, just anything about their anything. All I'm saying is that the art in this specific issue was not my taste. And don't engage with any of these people online. Sorry. Superman number 10. That was fun. And it wasn't available on the shelves. See, I went to my local comic book shop on Wednesday, and they were like, we didn't get a shipment in. It might be in tomorrow, and it might be in on Friday or Saturday. They had like something, with UPS or Fed, whoever it is, something happened. It could have been the cold. We're in the middle of a huge cold snap in New England right now. It hasn't been over 30 degrees in 7 days. So make sure you keep your faucet on a little bit of a drip so that your pipes don't freeze. I did not get a chance to buy Superman number 10. And I would have, because this is a fun issue. This was really good stuff. I'm so happy. And it's also Bruno Redondo did the interior art. It's just Superman set in the past. And I like the look of this. If you've been reading the Enfield Gang Massacre over on Image Comics, it's pure Western. It's got this wonderful color palette. Really, I like it. I like the use of colors when the people are just have a really curated sense of it. It's such a powerful part of the medium. And especially when everything doesn't turn into modern purple, because they put that modern purple into everything, especially by whites next to white, and when you have gleam. I'm looking at an ad right now for next month's DC Power, which has it's a trade dress. It's for DC Black History Month, which is February. And as Chris Rock said, of course, they gave us the coldest month of the year. You know what I mean? The shortest month and the coldest month of the year, of course. I love Chris Rock. He was so funny. But yeah, I mean, now this is also digital art too, but I mean, this is a better quality. And just, I love this page of Superman on horseback, and it's just blue skies, and we got and beautiful sands and reds and oranges, and the green and the limited greens of underbrush, and there's like no modern purple except for like Terra Man's outfit, and I mean, just this very, and again, modern purple. Hey, welcome, Couchin' and Slouchin' with C. Bizzle. How you doing? Welcome. Thanks for coming by. Good afternoon, everyone. I think I'm going to miss 420 today, because I'm sitting here talking to you. I some things you shouldn't do on TV. And, maybe I'll do, maybe I'll put on just the stop cam and just, do that. Superman Lost, 10 of 10. Good, strong finish. Really decent mini. And I like its sci-fi ending. And it's kind of like a play on Avengers Endgame's Steve Rogers ending about being in two places at the same time displaced. And I don't want to spoil it. Yeah, it's really decent. So check out. Yeah, it's got really good art, and I like the Solar Collector outfit that he has, the white outfit, which is kind of a cheat too. Because all you need to do is like not color that, and it just stands out. Wonder Woman number 5. I saved this one for last for a reason. I liked it. I don't like Tom King books pretty much. The only other Tom King book that I've liked so far has been The Penguin, because that's a good place for him to ply his trade. I mean, to rip characters apart, to have that Tarantino kind of feel, the talky, build-ups. And I did do a top 10 of 2023. We can find that in the playlist. Yeah, we did that a couple of weeks ago. We had a New Year's Eve special, the New Year's Eve live show. Let's see if I can I'll get a link for that. December, yeah. Oh, it would be under live, wouldn't it? Thank you. And here we go. Get shareable link. Here you go. Thank you so much. Drop by and leave a comment. Tell me if you like the show. And let's see. There we go. All these buttons. Let's see. Pika Shades. How accurate is that side of the story with John and Damian with Trinity, if they have been shown hanging out in the Wayne Manor, which Batman does not currently own anymore? Perhaps that's the setup to the... Eventually, he'll get everything back. I believe that it's always about... The X-Men will always go back to the mansion. Bruce has outgrown Wayne Manor a few times now, and Batman has too. I mean, like, I was a kid when he was in the apartment in downtown Gotham. That was cool. That was like with the Silver St. Cloud days, and I really feel that, yeah, eventually they'll go back to, it's restoring the next writer, the next editor, probably. Ben Abernathy's leaving, is quit DC Comics. He's been the Batman Group editor now for a few years. I don't know if there's been an announcement yet. And does anyone know? Has there been an announcement from DC Comics who will be the next Batman group editor? Because Ben Abernathy's gone. So it's kind of like over at X-Men. Jordan White is stepping down as group editor and Tom Brevoort stepping in. That means you'll probably have a new status quo. I, for one, would love to see them go back to the mansion, only to outgrow it again. And the same thing with Wayne Manor. So I think it's totally in the cards that, Wayne Manor will come back one day. But we were talking about Wonder Woman #5. I liked it because I liked all the Wonder Girls. I like Yara Fleur. I like her design. I like her look. I like her. She reminds me of Brazilian women. She reminds me of South American women. I work with lots of Latinas and Latinos, and soy un cocinero para 30 años. Y mi gente, el trabajo, mi familia. Seriously, I mean, I love Yara Fleur. And I liked Cassie Sandsmark in this too. And I liked Donna Troy a lot too. And I liked her inventive way to test Diana. And this is Diana's way of telling her sidekicks that, no, you're sitting this one out. And we're going to do the Amazonian rite of combat that is undeniable. And when you lose, you have to obey me and sit down. And it was okay. I mean, the Daniel Sampere art is really, really good, I feel. And it's really, I just draws a beautiful Wonder Woman and draws a beautiful Donna Troy. And, just that's, yes, please. Thank you. And then it has this assembling of an anti-Wonder Woman strike team of all of her nemesis over the years. And that's why the Wonder Girls are going to stick by her. Or the Wonders Girl. No, they're the Wonder Girls. But that's going to be cool. And I like it. I genuinely like it when Tom King writes something that I can enjoy. Because the guy has got it in him. And he should be doing it more. Instead of, the aw shucks, goofy, who me routine of being really. He reminds me of the next door neighbor in Toy Story, the one who was mean to his toys, and the one who made his toys ugly and stuff. Just yeah, but I like it when he's able to do that job. He can do it. So, and that's pretty much it for the comic books this week. Yeah. I did try to read that John Carter collection. That was interesting, but it just that was on Dynamite, and again with digital art, it's just it loses me after a while. It does. Sorry. I mean, yeah. Don't worry. Once us old fans, like Perch said, die off. He did not say that. No. But what's in the bag? What did I buy this week? The ubiquitous brown paper bag, the flat, that we get at our local comic book shops when we buy funny books. Huzzah. I'm enthused. Are you? Let's see what's in the bag. All right. Well, let's start off with this is $11 worth of comic books. No, sorry. $12 worth of reprinted comic books. But I'm in. I want these for my spinner rack with the rest of the X-Men stories. What's in the bag? Hashtag what's in the bag? It's going to replace hashtag Doc is right. That's right. But it's the first appearance of Phoenix. I love the ads. The old ads. Where is she? Oh my goodness. Here we go. Doc is. And remember, the Phoenix Force made a simulation of Jean here. The actual Jean Grey is in hibernation in the space shuttle at the bottom of Jamaica Bay, waiting to be unleashed on the world in the pages of X Factor come 1986. Huzzah. But yeah, I'm liking these the facsimile reprints. This is the 1975 giant size X-Men, the introduction of the new team. Storm, Nightcrawler, Banshee, Sunfire, Peter Rasputin, the Russian. So this, okay, come on. Talk about diversity and representation. You have, this is an international team, and you have a Native American, you have Warpath, you have an Irishman, representing a marginalized community, the Irish who were abused by the British. And you also have a Canadian too. And so, Canada is part of the Commonwealth. Ireland is not. You have an African princess, and you have a Soviet, a Russian, one of the bad guys. The Iron Curtain, and this guy's got iron skin. I mean, just like, this is up there with the crew of the Enterprise, man. Kind of maybe even like, I'm just realizing this. We have a Sulu, we have Uhura, we have a Chekhov, we've got Scotty, we've got Sulu, and we've got a Spock and Kurt Wagner, he's German. This, I've never have thought of this way before. Really? Oh, wow. How international, how diverse, and how representative this was in 1975. Remember, diversity inclusion was invented in 2015, 2016. Really? No, exactly. Come on. This is the X-Men team I grew up with. When I was a kid, Storm was the leader of the X-Men. I mean, come on, man. Just like Kurt never really was German, though. He's not a demon either, is he? And no, just an American. Speaking of reading something pirated digitally, and for me, the best compliment I can give to a book like that impresses me is going back and buying it. I used to buy James Bond 007 on Dynamite Comics about a decade ago when Warren Ellis was doing it. Now he eventually stopped. Jock started doing it, and I kind of fizzled off. I was a Warren Ellis reader, so I followed Warren, basically everything that he did. That was my thing. Garth Ennis is a really good writer. He's Irish. He's from Northern Ireland, which is a part of Britain, the UK. He's known for his ultraviolence, his Hitman on DC Comics, and that was pretty violent too for a mainstream continuity DC superhero comic book. But it was definitely made for a curated audience for Garth Ennis readers. He also did John Constantine Hellblazer for a while with Steve Dillon on art. He did Preacher on Vertigo with Steve Dillon on art. He did Punisher Max. He did Marvel Knights Punisher with Steve Dillon, and then he did Punisher Max on Marvel Max with different artists, where he went really ultra violent with Frank Castle the Punisher. He carries on. He also did The Boys. You might know The Boys from the Amazon Prime show. That's a Garth Ennis ultra violent comic book set in his own superhero universe. A guy who admits that he hates superheroes and superhero comic books, but he's so good at doing it. And he was given James Bond. This book is deadly. It's sharp, it's good, it's well written, it's really sassy. It contains like you don't even have to look over modernity because of like I don't even care about swaps in something like Ms. Moneypenny or M, you know, or is it Q? Who is the leader? You know, and just, but it's like it works. Everything's here. And it's also ultra violent and grotesque. And all I'm thinking is the guy who's drawing this, Lobosco. Let's see. Rafa Lobosco. This is pretty pretty Steve Dillon to me. Like he's got this Steve Dillon vibe. Not quite the the line work in the faces, but the pacing and the panel the panel pacing. It's just this is like there's some stuff in here that's just like this would really evoke Steve Dillon to me, and I really appreciate that. I'll be back for more. This was fun. This I didn't know there were books that came before this. Apparently, there's 2 trade paperbacks that precede this and that lead into this, but it's Cy Spurrier on DC Black Label doing John Constantine Hellblazer, and this is Dead in America. And this is John Constantine. John Constantine is the Black Magician, the anti-hero of magic in the DC universe. He premiered around 1985, around the Crisis on Infinite Earths, specifically in Swamp Thing by Alan Moore and Beset and Toddlebin. And he was a magician that basically likes to use Swamp Thing to his advantage. And he's not really a great person. He usually gets people around him killed, especially friends, and he takes advantage of people in situations. It's a great character, a great anti-hero. His books on DC Comics, and it started in like 88 or 89 and became Vertigo in 1993. Before Vertigo in 93, like Sandman and Hellblazer, they pretty much played in a mature audience's part of the DC universe. After Vertigo, they pretty much stuck to their own territory and didn't interact with DC heroes. You don't see John Constantine. You see him once in the DC universe, and that's at Hal Jordan's funeral. He's sitting next to Swamp Thing. It's an issue of Green Lantern, right around Final Night, where Hal Jordan has to come back and like reignite the sun. Or was that like after that? It's so many comic books over so much time. But this book is really good. It's well drawn, well written. This is original recipe John Constantine, because what I'm getting to is Earth Prime Zero has a John Constantine. I don't think they're the same Constantine. I think this is the closest thing we're going to get to the original brand John Constantine. I'm not sure if it's that, because he looks way too young to be John Constantine, the original, because that was like actually part of the book, that he was supposed to have aged in real time. And he was visually based off of Sting of the Police, the band. Gordon Sumner, the bassist and lead singer and songwriter of the 80s hit band, The Police. So I've seen a picture of like the 72-year-old. I can actually show it here. I can. Oh, and another thing. Oh, yeah. Premiering in 1 minute over on Wakazashi's Tea House will be me and Gray. Gray, we did a show. And last night at his place. And let's see. Share screen. Yes. This is what Sting looks like today. John Constantine canonically should be identical to him, age-wise and physicality. So, I mean, there's been some recent Swamp Thing that had a Constantine who was portly and paunchy. I don't think so. I think he would look just like Sting. That's my Twitter. That's my Twitter. Oh, no. You've seen my Twitter page. Yeah, you have. I know you have. Earth Prime is the OG Constantine, but that book by Cy is an out of continuity book. Yeah, but the Constantine that I saw in was it City Boy, or was it Spirit World? It was Spirit World by Q. Alyssa Wong. That Constantine was younger. Yeah, and because they really changed. I remember when, I remember the last issue, and then also I remember the New 52. The New 52 had a he's got demon blood. That's right. Oh yes, that's probably making him younger. Yeah, okay, that works. It was Spirit World. Thank you, Warline. And but no, this was a good issue. And if you're a fan of original recipe John Constantine, I mean this I think that the guy Noah, who might be his bastard son, I think that comes from the Peter Milligan Sean Phillips run when he goes back to Liverpool, and his best mate from growing up, he ends up being like a descendant of King Arthur, and he hooks up with a chick, and like he always does. And I'm like, I'm just doing the math, because that would be about 20 years ago or more. I don't know. I'm liking this book, and I'll be back for more. I will. 2 more books to cover. We've got Cobra Commander #1 in the Energon universe, from events spinning right out of Transformers issue #2. I got Duke #1. I got Cobra Commander #1. I think I'm in on Skybound's Energon universe for now. I'm liking it. It's entertaining, and this is interesting, and it gives you the origin story of this iteration of Cobra Commander, which dovetails in his Cobra La origin story. Better done than the original G.I. Joe, the movie, of which I always felt was like a complete jumping of the shark and a complete cop-out. I was turning 13 years old and aging out of G.I. Joe anyway that year in 86, and felt like Cobra La was a huge disappointment. What a shitty way to leave, I think the next season of the cartoon may have even ignored Cobra La. I'm not sure. And I like this book a lot, and it's fun. And it's Joshua Williamson, and he's also writing Duke. And I got this. I'm in on this. Larry Hama's G.I. Joe, A Real American Hero. This is issue number 303. And I've been reading this book off and on since I was a child. Larry Hama has been writing this book since I was a kid. He's only not written, I think, less than 20 issues of this in 303. Like, that's Marvel Comics. That's Devil's Due. That's is it Dark Horse and IDW? Because this, and it's good that A Real American Hero has switched hands through publishers, but it's kept its numbering and it's kept its core story. So this is not Energon universe. You will not see Transformers in here, besides maybe an Easter egg of a yellow VW Beetle, maybe, if you're lucky, or a red semi, you know what I mean, with a silver, trailer. But it's not going to transform into a giant robot. Yeah, and that's all we got. We got G.I. Joe comics, huh? It's like it's 1981 all over again in here, man. And I'm loving it. Comics are made for us. There are good comics out there, and you can find great suggestions here at the Comics Talk with Reverend Sully. Thank you so much for tuning in this week for the live show. Please smash that like button on the way out. Subscribe if you haven't already, and stay tuned for other stuff. I'm a professional chef. I do cooking. I share cooking videos. I drop a short every day at 6 p.m. trying to get people to subscribe to look at my cooking. I do a gratitude list most weekday mornings, and we talk about comic books at least twice a week on Wednesdays and Sundays. And I'm so blessed and grateful that you are out there watching the show and that you are able to tune in today. And if you're watching on the replay, you can play along at home too and watch this any time of day, maybe even in the podcast form. I got this listed as part of the podcasts now. So tune in, subscribe, and God bless. Namaste. Good luck. We will see you again in those funny pages. Ciao. Bye-bye.